Hello, my loves, and welcome to your March 2025 energy forecast. And unless you have been hiding under a rock, which you may have been, I'm sure you've heard the sheer intensity, the rumors of the sheer intensity of what March is going to be bringing for us collectively. And honestly, it's going to be March and a good part of April, but we're going to focus on March today and really going over the highlighted points that the guides have given me to share to kind of give you an insight into what you may experience and help you navigate it. Before we do that, I want to touch on this because this is a really important part, and I've touched on it in a few energy updates, but because I don't know who's watching what, I feel guided once again to kind of touch base on this. In December of 2024, we began the biggest shift in human consciousness that we have ever experienced. And we have been talking about the split in timelines known as the shift for years. For me personally, I've been channeling on it for 9 years. I know people who have been channeling on it for much longer, but we are now here. This is happening, and it began in December. And you may have felt preparatory energies in October or November, even. But December, in the beginning of December, with that tsunami of light that I had discussed a few times, that was really the splitting happening. That tsunami came in and really split to the point to where you can no longer straddle the fourth dimension and have one foot in the 3D and one foot in the 5D. Now, that doesn't mean that once you shift into new earth frequencies that you can't do things in a third dimensional space. Remember, dimension and frequency, while each dimension has its own frequency, there are plenty of people who will embody the new earth frequencies and reside and operate in a lower dimensional frequency to be beacons of light, to be people who are guiding those across. But for many of us, including myself, I spent many years straddling and putting one foot in both worlds. And that's just something that really is not possible anymore. And that information has come through over the last few months so many times, so many different ways. And so this can cause a lot of things, and we'll get into some of those. However, I want to talk about some of the symptoms that you can experience if you are someone who is shifting into the new earth frequencies. And you may not consciously know that that's what's happening. And that is why it's so important that we share what that can look like. So the biggest one that I have experienced and that I've heard other people experiencing is exhaustion, physical and mental exhaustion. It's like I don't have the energy to do or think, and everything feels like too much, and you're just it feels like almost like burnout. You may be called to sleep more, to meditate more. Um, and that is because when you are sleeping or meditating, the guides can come in and help you to let go of the things that you are holding on to. You cannot take your baggage of guilt, shame, trauma that really you've been just holding on to and not letting go of into the new earth frequencies. So many of us have come into the frequencies and been halted and having to work through releasing all of those heavy, dense emotions. It's just you can't move forward. And so it can almost make you feel like you're stuck or that you've been stopped or frozen while you kind of de-thaw all of that repressed and suppressed energy that's locked in your bones, in your organs, in your tissues, and in your nervous system, and really helping you to let go and live in that surrendered state. So if you're unwilling to let it go, you will be called to sleep more or meditate more. And that's to help you get out of your own way and let spirit come in and kind of help you let go. You may also be having body ailments. You may be sick, having flu, allergies, colds that are intense. You may have so many people have messaged me that they've either been hospitalized or sent to the ER. I was one of those people in November. I had my gallbladder removed. I actually spent 8 days in the hospital with like all of these weird things happening. It wasn't just my gallbladder. And it was so random and it came on really, really fast. And so what Spirit says with that is when we're having these random colds and flus and allergies and things, it is an intense physical purging, right? So when we have an energetic letting go, wherever that was held, we have to have a physical, whatever was manifested, we have to have a physical release. And so, however that looks, it could be just bathroom issues, it could be um, body pains, it could be, again, flus, colds, allergies, things like that. So, whatever you're experiencing, remember that at the end of the day, every single cold, flu, and allergy symptom is also an ascension symptom. They're not separate. There's never a separation. Remember, separation is the illusion here. There's never a separation. So while you might contract a virus, right, because you connect to somebody who's on that same frequency that's releasing, um, that's the way they want me to do it, say it. It is also a clearing, a letting go of what's been stored in your physical body. The last thing I want to touch on with the transition into the new earth frequencies is the emotional aspect. So for me, and many others that have DM'd me or had sessions with me over the last 3 months, people are feeling very apathetic, very, very detached. Some people are questioning if they're okay, if they are depressed, if they need to be put on medicine or get some kind of help. And I want to assure you, well, I'm not a doctor and I'm not a psychiatrist, that the majority of those who have come to me, I have been assured that it is an emptying out is what's going on. You are being emptied out. And so you can feel empty. You can feel apathetic. And apathetic means it's not that you don't care, it's that you're not concerned. You're not going to do anything about it. You're not there to fight with it. Um, but you do care. It's a different feeling. Apathetic is a very different feeling and it feels very detached and very empty. So if you're experiencing any of those things, please know that you are on the bullet train into the new earth frequencies, and this is happening for you. Okay. And this is going to continue until that cycle has completed for you and you have let go of everything. And once you do, you're going to feel so incredibly free and authentic and in tune with your soul and energized and just ready to go. So it's going to be amazing. Hold tight. All right, so let's dive into March. And if you are new to me, I am Johanna Burkhardt. I am a multidimensional channel teacher, healer, and author. And my mission is to help you to be the change that you want to see so that you can create the reality that you are desiring. And we do that through learning how to master our multidimensionality and to really learn how to shift frequencies from fear, from doubt into faith, trust, surrender. Very, very powerful. Okay, so here are some of the themes that are showing up for March. March is really this energy of revolution on the world stage for sure, but there's an inner revolution happening. There's this need for us to really get in tune with who we authentically are. And because of all of this energy that we have in Pisces, from the North Node to Saturn to Venus, will eventually be going back into Pisces. So many planets in Pisces right now. Pisces really is this delusional energy. It's dreamy, it's romantic, but it's also very confusing. And so this can be helpful, and it also can be challenging for us because we're like, what's real and what isn't? And so there's some things that are going to be super helpful as we move into March. One is discipline, 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 discipline. This is a word I keep hearing for the month of March is discipline. And when I asked about discipline, what they said was something that they had shared with me personally before, and something that I have embodied in my everyday life already, and that is creating a structure, a daily structure that supports your body and nervous system. So when your nervous system, when you have a daily schedule, it allows your body and nervous system to have things that it can count on, that it can expect. It knows every day aroundish this time that these things are going to happen. And that allows for you to feel safe and to cultivate that sense of safety and certainty in intense, uncertain times. Because honestly, every day is uncertain, right? Any day the world could end, you could pass away, someone could get sick, you get a car accident, like nothing's ever certain. But as the month unfolds and the year unfolds, we are going to see the deconstruction of our old reality on the world stage. And that is going to trigger our nervous system very deeply. It's going to trigger our ego, our inner children. And we are going to need to have that discipline to cultivate that inner safety and really help support us. So, discipline and creating a structure, a daily structure for yourself, however that looks like, something in the morning, maybe something in the afternoon, maybe something in the evening that you do day in and day out. Doesn't have to be a lot of things. It just needs to be a few things, things that your body begins to go, oh, every day we're going to do this, and every at this time, and every day here we're going to do this at this time, and that creates a sense of stability in an unstable environment. Okay. The other thing is warrior energy. This is cultivating and calling on our inner strength and trust. And this helps with discipline as well, because when you look at a warrior, they're not emotional. They're not emotionally reactive. They're steadfast. They're calm. And that's something that we're being asked to do, especially the first half of the month, is to slow down. Slow down. Think before you speak. Allow yourself 10 or 20 seconds before you respond to anything or say anything. Really allow yourself to detach and recognize that whatever's happening or whatever someone is saying or doing has little to do with them or it. And what you are feeling is an emotional memory being triggered within your nervous system. And so your job is to hold steadfast, right? Be that stag energy, trust that everything is okay and you don't need to be reactive to anything. Something that I heard today was stress is not caused from external things. Let me say that again. Stress is not caused from external things. It's caused from the reaction to the external thing. So, whatever happens, the way that you react or respond is going to shift everything. If you are reacting, that means that you are repressing or suppressing an emotion in your body or trying to express it, maybe. And so we really want to bring your awareness to that. And speaking of expression, this is a big throat chakra energy this month. Throat and root is going to be the two chakras that are really going to be the most activated because we're really going to want to be loud and vocal. We're really going to want to get our message out, our voice out, our opinion out. But you don't need to shout to be heard. You don't have to be loud to be heard. You just have to sit and get centered into your heart and say, what is it that I really need to communicate? And how can I communicate this with grace? Grace is like the charm school, right? We can say something that's important and that needs to be said gracefully, compassionately. So know that your voice is going to want to be heard. You're going to want to be heard this month. But before you speak, really sit with the energy of what it is that you are trying to get across and really think about how you can say it. Because again, oftentimes the moment you yell or shout or defend, you're putting someone on guard. So the moment they're on guard, they're not receiving what you're trying to get across anyway. And we only defend what we doubt anyway. So even though there's going to be a lot of throat chakra activations, this is an opportunity for discipline and inner strength for you to sit with this energy and get really clear in your heart as to what it is that you are wanting to communicate and what it is that you're wanting to get across. Within this revolutionary energy, this month is also going to be one of the most healing months, one of the most liberating months. But within that, Especially come the middle of the month. And we're going to go over a brief overview of the astrology as well. Around the middle of the month, we're really going to be tested, where we're going to start looking at our relationships, all relationships, and people, places, things, jobs, careers, businesses, clients, people that you've hired. It doesn't matter. We're going to be putting our relationships under a microscope. We're really going to be looking at who is serving me and who isn't, who no longer aligns with who I am becoming or who I already am. Because so many of us over the last few months have already shifted. So many of us are already looking at some of our relationships and going, oh, this doesn't feel good anymore, or it feels out of alignment, but you may be holding on to it because you are so connected to them, or you've known them for so long, or you're afraid of conflict, whatever the case may be. So know that there's going to be a lot of what we would call broken arrows, really wanting us to really look at things that are no longer in alignment with who we are becoming. And so in that, you will be accessing your inner freedom. You are never chained or tied to anyone. And the moment that you chain or tie your happiness to somebody else, you're giving them the power anyway. So you have to ask yourself, if when you're afraid to let go of somebody or have a conversation with somebody, you need to ask yourself what you're afraid of. Because 9 times out of 10, that's an avoidant energy where you're not wanting to, or you're afraid of, I should say, of conflict, right? You're not wanting to set the boundaries or have the open, clear communication with that individual. But you really need to choose you. And remember that we should not get in the way of someone else's karma. Karma, if you are not aware, is just the law of cause and effect. And as we shift and change, it may trigger people in our life for us to let go or maybe meet somebody new. And that can trigger a whole set of things for them as well. But that may be exactly what you were meant to do. So don't get too attached. Don't get too wrapped up in shame or guilt. Just really get clear on what's serving you, who's serving you, and who isn't. And it's okay to let those people go. It's okay to let those things go. They'll either come back or something else better will come in. A new relationship will come in, and it will be serving to both of you. Because remember, the universe never gives you anything or removes anything unless it's serving your being. So I want you to really hear me when I say that. There's going to be some good things too, right? There's going to be, especially with the Pisces energy, there's going to be an increase in imagination and intuition. As I mentioned in the last mini update, we don't have a collective veil anymore. That's been gone for a long time, but we do have personal veils. And those personal veils are going to be very thin at this time. Now, here's the thing with that. We are going to start to experience our multidimensionality in a way that may make you feel a little bit insane or a little bit crazy, because we're going to be bobbing, weaving, moving in and out of different versions of us, different dimensions. And this is going to help us as we recalibrate to optimize our healing, because there's going to be things that we need to revisit, or that we need to reconcile, or that we need to get really deep in order to let go and clear it and transmute it. And so we may move into that version of ourselves. We may move into a different dimension and time. And I've already been experiencing this, and some days are really challenging because I know that I'm in an old version of myself and I'm feeling all of these heavy energies. And I have just been really laying down when that happens and doing the work that I teach, right? This is what this feels like, and really loving myself through it and having compassion, because I know that what I'm feeling has nothing to do with the present moment. It has nothing to do with the person who may have triggered it or the world event that may have triggered it. It has everything to do with that person pushed a button of an emotional memory that lives in my nervous system from childhood. And I was incapable as a child to feel that energy. And now I'm being given an opportunity to feel it and heal it for both versions, for myself who's moving forward and for that little girl who really needed what I can only give her now, which is the love and the compassion that she needed then, and the space to be held to do that. And welcoming those energies, saying you're welcome here, and not trying to fight it, resist it, avoid it, medicate it, whatever. And so if you start to have these moments where you feel crazy or delusional, just remember that you could be moving and most likely are moving in and out of timelines. Now, listen, um, we are moving through versions of ourselves and timelines hundreds of times a day. But they're so micro and minute that oftentimes you don't notice it. Sometimes you may notice it. For me, the biggest annoying thing is I know I did something, and then a day or two later, it's like I never did it. And it's because I shifted into a different timeline. Timelines are a string of present moments leading in a certain direction. So if you're going this way and all of a sudden you caveat over here, you've switched and now you're going on a different trajectory, and then you might caveat back and go like this. So when we have these big shifts, that's going to be experienced a little bit differently. So just know that um, during the day or over the next couple of months, you may start to feel yourself doing that in the process of healing. So you may question who you are. You may question if you are what your purpose is. You may question everything in your reality in this month of March because it's just going to be so wild and crazy. And so again, throat chakra, root chakra. So we're talking blue stones, right? Lapis. I have it pulled up here. Blue kyanite, chrysocolla, sodalite, aquamarine. Aquamarine is one that I was hearing very loudly because aquamarine isn't just for throat chakra. Aquamarine is for surrender. And that is what we are going to be asked to do. We're going to be asked to start to live from a surrendered state. We are going to be asked to start to operate on blind faith. We are going to be asked to hold the light. We are going to be asked to believe and move forward as if, even though there is no concrete evidence, and people may say you're crazy or think you're crazy, it doesn't matter. This is what we're being asked to do. This is the Piscean age, and this is the path forward. And it starts today. It starts now. This is how we're going to start to operate. And so it's really, really, really important that, if you haven't, over the last few years, I've been shouting this from the rooftops that we have being prepared over the last few years to really get comfortable with fear, to really get comfortable with uncertainty, and to learn how to live in that surrendered state in blind faith and trust in yourself. So if you have not been preparing yourself over the last few years, you're about to get a crash course. And know that you're never going to be perfect with anything. It's never about perfection. It's about grace for yourself. It is about practicing it daily and having the support system to get you through it. So before we get into the astrological breakdown and what the eclipses are going to hold for us, I want to take this opportunity to launch something that I have never done before and I'm ridiculously excited about offering, which is the Thrive and Rise group mastermind. I have been wanting to do a mastermind for so long, and this just feels so good and so supportive. So this is meant to help you thrive and rise during the greatest shift in human consciousness that we have ever experienced, and during some of the most challenging and intense energies that we will experience this year. So let me explain to you what this is about really quickly and what's included. So first of all, this offer closes March 12th. It is only available to 10 people. I can only support 10 people in this container. And so please don't wait until March 12th to enroll because you may miss your opportunity. This is what we're going to be offering in this container, right? We're going to be offering one 45-minute initiation session. So this is to set your intentions for what it is that you want to work through, be supported with, discuss whatever it is. It's setting your intention for your time in this 3-month mastermind. 45 minutes one-on-one with me. Right after you enroll, you'll be given the opportunity to book that session. That is at minimum $150 value in itself. You will also get access to one 60-minute quantum soul session, again, one-on-one time with me. That's 3 sessions, one per month over the 3-month mastermind, that you will have a link to be able to book at your convenience, what works for you. That is a $225 value. You will also get a 2-hour group mastermind call. This has hot seat coaching. This will have channeled information. This will be group discussion. There could be language of light activations. Lots of things can go on. The call will be recorded, but it is imperative that if you join, that you are able to show up at these group calls. The day and time that the group calls will be is on the sales page in the description below. You will also get a group chat on WhatsApp. That way, if you're struggling, if you are going through something, if your questions like, is this a symptom? Or if you want to celebrate something, whatever it is, you have chat. You can access me. You can hear from other people. You can see and be surrounded by other people who are going through the same exact thing. It's so important that we support each other at this time. The guides have alluded that there will be activations. So those language of light activations may be audio clips that come through chat. They may be something that I record and drop into the back end on Podia in your area. We will have to see. There will be a shamanic journey of such that we take for the equinox on March 20th, and our first group call is on March 19th. So there's so much being offered in this container, and it's at such an amazing price point because I have never done this before. So if you guys know me, when I do something brand new, I always put it out at a ridiculously reasonable price. And I will be running this again, but it will go up in price. But anybody who joins the first round, you're always locked in for the second round at the same original price. So you will have that as well. If you want to continue and do another 3 months, you'll have that option. This is like a good bridge between, single sessions and private mentorship. Those are really big gaps that in services that I offer. And so I've been really sitting with it for a few months now, like, what can I offer? When is the right time to offer it? And I was just like, now this is the time, because my inbox has been blown up from people who are struggling right now or people who have been booking sessions. And so this just feels like an amazing offer. So if this is something that calls to you, please check the sales page. The description will be in the thing below, and see if it calls to you. And if it doesn't, that's okay too. But I hope that you can find some support. Okay, so let's go over the kind of an astrological line. I don't normally go this way, but I really felt called to, just because there's so many things happening this month. So we're starting off with Venus retrograde, which kicks off March 1st and goes till April 12th. This happens every 8 years. And so the last time this happened was 2017. 2017 was a fucking phenomenal year for me. And so Venus is gonna really have the most effect on yourself, right? So that inner self-love, that inner communication, it has a lot of effect on our close, intimate relationships, and it has an effect on our money. So it's going to start its retrograde in Aries, and then it's going to regress back into Pisces. And so this is really a pivotal thing that not a lot of people think is a big deal. Like, everybody talks about Mercury retrograde, but Venus retrograde is a pretty big thing, and it's a 40-day window. So this is going to be happening. And then we have Mercury retrograde, which kicks off on March 14th, which also happens to be the total lunar eclipse in Virgo. So, with Mercury retrograde, I'm never going to be the one that's going to tell you that it's going to be the thing that brings your ex back. That has never aligned for me. Mercury really affects our frequency and our communication. So this is technology. Usually we have frequency issues globally when these types of things happen. It also can distort our inner communication. And so with everything already being in so much Piscean energy, It's already going to be challenging and confusing. So, Mercury retrograde and a Venus retrograde happening simultaneously in Pisces is challenging. It just is. Not only that, but on March 12th, we have this annually, but this is the Sun Saturn conjunction. Pisces, Saturn is in Pisces as well. And so this is often referred to as a day of challenges and may bring some really harsh realities into the light. This can operate kind of like a stress test, right? Let's see how she handles this thing. So it's really important. Again, we come back to that inner warrior energy where when whatever anything happens, you kind of just put the tongue to the roof of your mouth. You count to 10 or 15, you take a breath, you let your shoulders drop, and you remember this, whatever's happening is triggering a memory from childhood. There may be a call for a boundary or some communication, but I'm not going to react here. I'm going to be steadfast. I'm going to access my inner warrior. I'm going to trust. I'm going to be calm. I'm going to believe in myself, right? I'm not going to defend and react and fight. So there may be some things that happen. This also can be something that disrupts your structure. Saturn is very structured, very disciplined. So it might be testing your discipline. It might be testing the structure that you created for yourself. So that's just something to kind of keep in mind. You can even mark it on your calendar if you want. And then, of course, we have the total lunar eclipse in Virgo. Virgo had moved into our south node. Our south node is our karma. It usually represents the challenges of the first 40 years of our life, right? So our north node really shifts our attention and our direction shifts to our north node, I should say. From around 38 to 42 in that age range is when we really feel ourselves moving towards our north node. And so when you think about the South Node, it really represents what we learned in our past, or what we set out to learn. And so as we come up to that total lunar eclipse in Virgo on March 14th, we're going to feel that urge to organize, to be disciplined, to make changes and edits to the habits that we have in our life. And it's going to make it really clear where things need to shift and change so that we can set ourselves up for success and go towards our destiny. But again, that Virgo energy is really focused in the South Node right now. And so, again, these habits, these behaviors, these beliefs are going to be from the first half of your life. It's going to be the things and the themes that you have either struggled with or have been trying to heal or worked with. And something is going to be brought to light. Something is going to brought to light to really help you let go of that, cultivate, edit, change, and create new habits, new disciplines, new routines. I actually really like the energy of the total lunar eclipse in Virgo. I don't feel it as something that is drastic or intense. I mean, all eclipses, usually the activation is kind of harmless and we see the effects over the next 2 to 6 weeks after it. It's rarely the moment of the eclipse does something happen. It's usually either right before or within 2 to 6 weeks after. So just keep that in mind. But what will start to come up in this time are, again, the habits, the beliefs, the systems, the places where you're maybe even lacking the discipline that need to be shifted and changed to allow you to start moving in the correct direction or into the direction that, is aligned for your destiny. And then as we move towards the end of the month, we are going to have a partial solar eclipse in Aries on March 29th. This signifies new beginnings, but is most likely also going to bring with it unexpected changes. So this is about, again, living in that surrendered state. It is embracing flexibility, remaining open to new opportunities, releasing the expectations of what you think it should look like, and really rolling with it. Now, I will say the partial solar eclipse in Aries feels way more intense than the total lunar eclipse in Virgo, way more intense. But in addition to that, we have a very large cosmic wave, another big wave of photonic light that's going to be coming in, that's going to be amplifying this. It is really going to be a very intense experience. But remember, all of this is really designed to help you become your own inner alchemist, for you to again start to live in that surrendered state and not be reactive. Really find that inner balance, that inner peace, that inner harmony. And the other thing about the end of the month, from the middle of the month to the end of the month, is really keep in mind that when your nervous system is activated, actually, this applies to any time, but when your nervous system is activated, it narrows your vision. It narrows your vision. It decreases your muscle strength by 50%. So when you feel activated or when you feel stress, your only priority in that time should be to say, what is it that I'm not wanting to feel right now? Or what is it that I'm afraid to feel? Because the sheer act that I feel stress signifies that I have suppressed or am repressing something. And that weakens the muscles, causes tension in them, and narrows your vision. And in asking yourself that question, you begin to open yourself back up and you begin to detach and start to come from that outer perspective. So you're no longer in it and you're kind of shifting back and going, oh, let me look around and see here. And you want to focus on relaxing your system, bringing it into regulation so that your vision expands and you can get that bird's eye view once again. And you can see that there are so many other possibilities, right? So I always say it's like this. If you're afraid to go right, there's no reason to, because if you go right, there's also going to be a reality where you went left. And if you go right and you don't like it, you can always choose 10 minutes later or 2 days later or 2 weeks later to, and then go left. So don't allow yourself to get stuck and frozen in indecision. Expand your awareness and really see that all ways will be, and you get to choose and try out and explore them freely. This is, again, we're coming back to one of the themes, which was that inner freedom, that liberation. Sometimes our vision gets so narrow and we get so stressed on, I have to choose this, or I have to choose this, or I have to go this way, or I have to do this. These are my only options. I feel limited. I feel like I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place, when in reality, you are not. What's really happening is you are in an activated nervous system and you are super stressed because you are repressing something in your system. So we need to first work with that, get into that activated, surrendered state. So that expands your vision, it expands your possibilities, it expands the options that are in front of you, and really helps you to start moving forward again. So this is March. It has a lot of energy, a lot of things happening. And it's, like I said, it's going to be moving into the first half of April as well. But again, I will do mini updates as the month goes along. And of course, I will be back for April. And so if you are somebody who is going to really want support during this time, just know that the Thrive and Rise Mastermind is linked down in the description box below. Please feel free to check it out. If you have any questions, email me, DM me, and I can surely answer them for you. Enrollment for that will close on March 12th, but please do not wait until March 12th, because again, as soon as we hit 10 participants in the mastermind, I will be closing enrollment. And because as soon as people join, they have the ability to go ahead and book their first call with me, and to, get chat access. So they have access to chatting with me and the WhatsApp chat, and things like that. So if you want the support, it's available to you as soon as you enroll. But you also have sessions, private mentorship still open and available. And if I'm not the one you resonate with, please find somebody that you do, or find a support group or support system to really help you at this time. We are not meant to do this alone. We are not meant to do this alone, and you are not alone. So gifts are going to start to come online. Your intuition's really going to start to be tuned in. And you're really going to start to feel that push towards the direction in which you are meant to go in. And when we fight that energy, where we're being pushed to go in a certain direction, this is when we can cause destruction in our life. We call this the tower moment. I've had many of them. They're not fun. So, I'm so grateful for you to be here. Please like, subscribe, let me know your thoughts on this energy forecast, and I will see you in the next video.